This is the video about the history of fast food in USSR. Let's bite into it.
Well, it's been 14 years in the making, and today, finally, McDonald's threw open the doors to its first restaurant in Moscow.
Would you believe that thousands of people would stand out in the cold for hours just for a Big Mac? That they will form lines several kilometers long, blocking the traffic in the center of Moscow. What you see is the real footage from when the first McDonald's arrived in Moscow in 1990. And yes, the city went mad. Just look at this. Back then, the only fast food available were canteens at the factories or universities. Food there was healthy, but a bit tasteless. In this episode, for example, they are showing the best canteen in the country at the metallurgic factory in Ukrainian Republic. It was very innovative, could feed up to 4,000 workers who had their meal eaten on average for 7-10 minutes. I think I eat my burger slower nowadays. The system was convenient. You load money and choose one of the 5 options for lunch. It includes 5-course meal: soup, salad, main meal, drink, dessert. The options were different the entire month. There was no same dish in a menu for 30 days. The right food for the health of Soviet workers. All for just 10 kopeka, like half an hour of your work. Sounds good, no? For the ordinary Soviet citizen during Perestroika, McDonald's offered a glimpse of what life and eating out was like over the Iron Curtain. This meant no Western goods such as clothes, vehicles, and food products were allowed to enter the country. There was a way, though. A store called Berezka for privileged members of the Communist Party, people with diplomatic passports, or celebrities. It was possible to get the goods of capitalism, such as jeans, sneakers, burgers, and Coca-Cola. But the story of Western fast food in the USSR has begun a bit earlier with the famous kitchen debate in 1959. Moscow became a site for a huge American expo, and Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev met Richard Nixon. Standing in front of a regular American kitchen, model with a refrigerator and dishwasher, the leaders got into an argument over whether capitalism or communism were better. Seizing the right moment, head of Pepsi Donald Kendall diffused the situation by treating the Soviet leader to a glass of Pepsi. And Khrushchev liked the fuzzy drink. Later, he was joking that the taste first seemed to him as a motor oil. It was a win-win situation. As the New York Times put it, the soda was the first capitalistic product available in the USSR. But there was one issue: money. Soviet rubles were worthless internationally, with their value determined by Kremlin. Soviet law also prohibited taking the currency abroad, so the USSR and Pepsi resorted to barter. In return for cola, Pepsi received Stolichnya vodka to distribute to United States. By late 1980s, Russians were drinking approximately 1 billion servings of Pepsi a year. And in 1988, Pepsi broadcast the first paid commercials on local TV, starring none other than Michael Jackson. The bartering worked well. Stolichnya was popular in the United States. And there was one more problem: an American boycott in response to the Soviet-Afghan war. That meant that Pepsi wanted something else to trade. So, in the spring of 1989, Pepsi and the Soviet Union signed a remarkable deal. I've never heard about anything like that in my entire life. Pepsi became the middleman for 17 old submarines and 3 warships, including a frigate, a cruiser, and a destroyer, which the company sold for scrap. Pepsi also bought new Soviet oil tankers and leased them out or sold them in the partnership with the Norwegian company. In return, the company could more than double the number of Pepsi plants in the Soviet Union. It also ignited jokes that Pepsi was taking the cola wars to the high seas. "We are disarming the Soviet Union faster than you are," Kendall quipped to the President George Bush's national security advisor. Pepsi went even bigger. with the help of Russian space agency. It paid for Russian cosmonauts to pose with a 4-foot-tall replica of a Pepsi can while they conducted a spacewalk. The company refused to say exactly how much the stunt cost, but it said it was in the 7 figures. PepsiCo even launched another brand in the USSR, Pizza Hut. But all of that was possible due to the last leader of the USSR, Mikhail Gorbachev, who ruled the country from 1985 up to its collapse in 1991. Gorbachev is famous for creating the idea of perestroika and a movement with the aim to reform the country's economy and to westernize the Soviet Union. He removed the Iron Curtain and became a quite controversial figure in Russian politics. Some people praise him for promoting liberal ideas in a totalitarian country, and some think that he sold the USSR out to the West. They call him a traitor and blame for the destruction of the USSR. Gorbachev himself even appeared in an infamous Soviet Pizza Hut advertisement. You have to see it.
Это Горбачев.
Горбачев?
Это из-за него у нас в экономике бардак.
Да благодаря ему у нас новые возможности.
Это из-за него у нас политическая нестабильность.
Да благодаря ему у нас свобода.
Полный хаос.
Перспективы.
Политическая нестабильность.
Да благодаря ему у нас есть Pizza Hut.
За Горбачева!
За Горбачева!
За Горбачева!
Sometimes nothing brings people together like a nice hot pizza from Pizza Hut.
Born in 1990s, I remember birthday parties at McDonald's, these awkward photos with Ronald McDonald, and overall love for burgers and fries in Russia. McDonald's was an absolute winner in terms of people's love and attachment. I mean, it's connected to positive memories of childhood for so many generations now, including mine. I've been to this particular restaurant on Tverskaya Street with my friends and parents, and it didn't change that much since. I used that Big Mac box for a long time and put my sandwich in there instead of a lunchbox. I'd clean it, dry it on the heater, and then use it again. You see? Now we call it junk food, but back then it was precious. The price was like your daily wage. On the opening day, the restaurant received more than 30,000 visitors, setting an absolute world record. The average salary of a Soviet worker was around 150 rubles back then, and only one burger cost about 1.5 rubles, for which you could buy like 8 or 9 leaves of bread. What did people think about Western food? Let's see.
I don't like it at all, he says. It's not Russian.
It's very beautiful, but I expected more, I think.
This woman doesn't know what she just ate, but she says it was unusual and delicious.
Потому что мы все голодные, можно сказать. У нас же ничего в магазинах нет.
We're all hungry in this city, she says. We need more of these places. There's nothing in our stores or restaurants. All of the staff have been taught to smile relentlessly, all the time.
I smile to anybody and they say, oh, what's wrong? What's wrong? I wonder what has happened. Why do you smile? They think that I'm laughing at them.
It's interesting that when some people in Russia want to go to KFC, they say, let's go to Rostix. And this bizarre name has an explanation. KFC first opened in Moscow in 1993, but under a different name. It partnered with the Russian company called Rosinter, and the fast food chain opened up under the name Rostix. That was till 2005, and both companies decided to rename the brands. And Burger King was quite late to the Russian market, only opening its first restaurant in Moscow in January 2010. So it celebrated recently the 10-year anniversary. And today Burger King is perhaps the fastest growing fast food chain in all Russia. It opened more than 300 restaurants around our country, and it has a super aggressive marketing.
Может потрогать?
Well, we've been talking so far only about the Western brands. But what about the Russian fast food? Are there any chains that you know? I will tell you about my favorites. It's very curious that the first outlet of one of the most successful Russian fast food chains, Kroshka Kartoshka, opened at the height of Volt in August 1998. A year before that, two businessmen, creators of the chain, noticed an interesting dish, kumpir, in Turkey. It inspired men to sell potatoes with various additives. Another successful Russian fast food chain is Teremok, which sells the traditional Russian dish known as blini. Similar to French crepe, with various fillings and toppings. Fun fact that this mark actually even tried to open a branch in New York, probably for the New York Russians, but they are no longer available in the United States. So we think that Russian fast food dates back to the canteens in the Soviet factories, and still we have several chains which present the food of this type. We consider it healthy, and these fast food chains like Mumu or Teremok, they have pretty decent food with soups and salads, and I honestly prefer them rather than going to McDonald's or Burger King. So who knows, with the healthy lifestyle trend, what's gonna be the future of Russian fast food? Tell in comments what do you think, and see you in the next video. This is the end. By the way, this was my breakfast.